so we don't make you guys suffer through our whole not fun part of the meeting. And here we go. This is a resolution offered by myself today. Whereas Evan Gallagher is 11 years old and a 6th grade student at Ravena Queeman Selkirk School. And whereas Evan began riding BMX bikes when he was 6 years old. And whereas Evan won the New York State Championship Award while riding in the USA BMX Freestyle National Amateur Series. And whereas this past season, Evan has traveled across the country for 8 different national competitions. Whereas Evan has capped off the national finals with a 5th place finish, securing him a 2nd New York State Championship title, making Evan the first ever back-to-back champion in his age division. And whereas Evan would like to pursue his dream of someday representing the United States in the Olympics, now, therefore let it be resolved. The mayor and the board of trustees in the village of Ravena do hereby recognize Evan Gallagher for his dedication, determination, and diligence in achieving all these awards. And that is dated the 18th day of April 2023. And Evan, congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job.
And I don't know if it shows on the camera, but Evan brought his bike with him to show us what he's got.
You want to
And,
bring it up? Can you?
Yeah, if you want to bring
the
it
bike
up,
up,
we'll
yeah.
take a picture, and I have a little something for you. I thought you were gonna ride it up.
Do a wheelie.
Yeah.
You can do that. Oh, he's got some awards and stuff, doesn't he?
Not a proud dad at all or anything.
Thank you, buddy. Good job. Smile for the camera. All right.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
That's a really cool accomplishment for something young.
Yeah, congrats.
Good job, buddy.
Nice job, buddy.
Practicing.
Something cool.
Nice.
Don't crash on camera.
Oh, bouncing and everything else. No, look
Nice.
at you. Nice bike, too.
Get you some WD-40 for that squeaky.
Supposed to do that.
Actually,
So you're
he's right. That's
Thank
trying
you.
to get the mayor to let us jump him out here with him, but he wouldn't do it. Any volunteers in the board?
I'll do it.
Yeah, that's a one heck of a speed bump.
You can jump me, he can
Thanks,
jump
Evan.
any of you guys.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Keep it up.
Good job, buddy.
Nice.
Thank you.
I'll see you in the
Nice
Olympics.
meeting you, Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you made a motion for that?
Yes.
You need us to stay, or
I motion.
you don't have to stay, or you need us to stay? Okay. All right, have fun.
Thank you.
Enjoy the boring part of the meeting, I guess.
And I motion we accept that, obviously.
Yeah.
Do we need a second?
Joe Ganley.
Yeah.
Oh,
And yes, yes.
can't hear.
All right. Let's see. Okay, now the boring stuff. Kind of light right now, so we'll jump right to the, we've got a transfer, I'll get that out of the way. And this is from Sue King, Clerk-Treasurer. And that is a transfer of $38,644 of ARPA funds from general fund to water fund for the purchase of HDPE pipe and hydrants. We also need to increase line item A988 by that same amount, and increase line item transfer to water fund A9905.9 by that same amount, $38,644. And increase line item F5031 interfund transfer by $38,644. And increase line item 58320.44 source and supply, pipe and fittings by that same amount. Motion to accept that?
Second that.
Yes.
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 All right, well, I guess we'll do the short, easy resolution first. And this is Resolution 8-2023, a resolution authorizing the Village of Ravena to let bidding for the sedimentation basins and water treatment plant improvements. Whereas the Village of Ravena has contracted with Barton and LaJudas to design improvements to the village's sedimentation basins and waste water treatment plant improvement project. B&L has completed the design of the project and has prepared an advertisement to bidders to be published in the village's official newspaper during the first week of May 2023. And whereas the village has received funding through New York State Environmental Facilities Corporation, their Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, and Water Infrastructure Improvement Act, the WIA grant. And the village intends to let bidding on the project, and now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Ravena does hereby authorize B&L to let bidding for the work on the project with a bid opening date of June 8th, 2023 at 2 p.m. I motion we accept, and I vote yes.
I second that.
Yes.
Yes.
All yes. All right. And that will be advertised to all the contractors that are looking. Pretty big project, right, Hank? This is, right now, our said basins, that's where the water comes in and is allowed to, everything settles before we treat it in the plant. They're underground, inside this big concrete cavern type setup. It's sketchy to have to go, the guys have to go in and clean that periodically. It doesn't get sunlight, so that has a host of issues too. So we're gonna be daylighting these. We're gonna pull all the dirt and topsoil off, lift the concrete, and then these will be open basins with the structure built on top of it to protect them from the elements. That'll let in a lot more natural light and allow real safe, easy cleaning of the whole thing. This one's been in the works. This was part of our initial, probably what, 5-6 years ago. Just this is phase 2.
Yep, this was part of the initial grant that we got.
And this also includes, because it ties into the building, it'll include some repairs to the structure of the building, the roof and whatnot, better insulation. So that's a good one, and that was all done with grant money too, so. Win-win, for sure. All right.
So what's the village's official newspaper?
The Ravena
We
News
use it.
Herald.
Is it Ravena News Herald?
And the Times Union, we can go either way with those.
The Upstater now, right? Is that the Ravena
It could
Herald?
be, I'm not sure, but they changed the name quite a bit. All right. Resolution 7, 2023, and this is the property tax exemption for volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers pursuant to section 466A of the real property tax law. Whereas New York State taxing jurisdictions offered a property tax exemption to volunteer firefighters and ambulance workers, and whereas the Village Board of the Village of Ravena held a public hearing on April 4th regarding such exemption, and whereas the Village Board of the Village of Ravena is desirous of enacting such law that is set forth below for such enrolled members and their spouses from taxation with respect to the real property taxes for the Village of Ravena as long as eligibility requirements are met. The grant of exemption is an exemption of 10% of the assessed value of the property owned by an enrolled member as set forth below, or such enrolled member and their spouse, is hereby granted from taxation with respect to the real property tax to Village of Ravena as long as eligibility requirements are met. Eligibility requirements, such exemption shall be granted to an enrolled member of an incorporated volunteer fire company, fire department, or incorporated voluntary ambulance service, provided that A, the property is owned by the volunteer firefighter or volunteer ambulance worker. B, the property is the primary residence of a firefighter or an ambulance worker. C, the property is used exclusively for residential purposes. And D, the volunteer firefighter or ambulance worker resides in the Village of Ravena, and the Village of Ravena is served by such incorporated volunteer fire company or fire department or volunteer ambulance workers. E, the volunteer firefighter or ambulance worker is certified by the authority having jurisdiction as an enrolled member of such an incorporated volunteer fire company, fire department, or incorporated voluntary ambulance service. And F, the volunteer firefighter or volunteer ambulance worker meets the minimum service requirements established by the Village of Ravena, which is hereby established as service for at least 2 years in the Village of Ravena. Application. A volunteer firefighter or ambulance worker must annually, on or before the applicable taxable status date, file an application for such property tax exemption with the assessor responsible for preparing the assessment rolls for the Village of Ravena on a form as prescribed by the New York State Commissioner for the Office of Real Property Tax Services. The Village of Ravena must retain written guidelines available upon request as to the requirements of an enrolled volunteer member relating to this exemption. Certification. The Village of Ravena must annually file with the assessor prior to the taxable status date a list of active volunteer members who are certified to meet the minimum service requirement. Such list must provide, as of the tax status date, the number of years of service by each such enrolled member and such enrolled member's address of residence. No diminution of benefits. An applicant who is receiving any benefit pursuant to Article 4 of the Real Tax Property Law as of the effective date of this article shall not have any of those benefits diminished because of this article. The following provision is related to a lifetime exemption, an exemption for an unremarried spouse of a volunteer firefighter killed in the line of duty, an exemption for an unmarried spouse of a deceased volunteer firefighter. Grant of lifetime exemption. Any eligible enrolled member who accrues more than 20 years of active volunteer service shall be granted the 10% exemption as authorized by this article for the remainder of his or her life, as long as his or her primary residence is located within the Village of Ravena. Unremarried surviving spouse of volunteer firefighters or volunteer ambulance workers with at least 20 years of service. An unremarried spouse of a volunteer firefighter or ambulance worker with 20 years of service may receive the real property tax exemption if such unremarried spouse is certified by the authority having jurisdiction for the incorporated volunteer fire company, fire department, or incorporated ambulance worker as an unremarried spouse of an enrolled member of such incorporated volunteer fire company, fire department, or incorporated volunteer ambulance worker. That's a heck of a sentence right there. Such deceased volunteer had been an enrolled member for at least 20 years, and such deceased volunteer and unremarried spouse had been receiving the exemption of such property prior to the death of such volunteer. Unremarried spouse of an enrolled member killed in the line of duty. The unremarried surviving spouse of a deceased enrolled member, as certified by the authority having jurisdiction, is qualified to continue to receive the exemption as long as the deceased volunteer had been an enrolled member for 20 years, and the deceased volunteer and unremarried spouse had been receiving the exemption at the time of his or her death. If any clause, sentence, paragraph, section, or part of this resolution is declared by a court of competent jurisdiction to be invalid, such judgment shall not affect, impair, or invalidate the remainder thereof, but shall be confined in its operation to said clause, sentence, paragraph, section, or part of this local law. Now therefore be it resolved, this resolution shall take effect immediately for the following 2024-2025 Village of Ravena property tax year.
I will happily second that.
And yes,
All yes.
I'm just happy we're able to
do that.
give the volunteers who serve us so well a little something extra to show our appreciation.
It's a tough job and requires a lot of dedication and lost personal time, so we do appreciate that, for sure. All right. So, we have some guests tonight. And these are our new attorneys. We guys say so tonight. If you guys would like to go up to the microphone and just introduce yourselves and say hi to everybody, be great.
Hello, members of the board. Allison Phillips, partner with the law firm Young Summer. I know a few of you from working with the zoning and planning board for the past couple of years. We've really enjoyed working with the Village of Ravena and are excited for this opportunity to be able to work directly with the village board, general village attorney business. Here with me tonight is Jesse Summer, who I know many of you also know, and he's been attending the zoning and planning board meetings the past couple of months. Jesse and I, together with Kristen Pratt, who you also know from our firm, who's handling the code enforcement issues, the ongoing matters we are already working with the village on. The three of us would be, the team ready to assist the Village of Ravena in the various matters you have going on. We have had a meeting with Michael Biscone that was attended by the mayor, and he kind of brought us up to speed on some of the current issues that he would be transitioning over to the new council. And he has provided us with a lot of background documentation on those ongoing matters, which has been really helpful to be able to understand kind of what we would need to do to get off and running, assisting the village.
Great.
What we provided for you tonight is a retainer agreement, which would cover, general village attorney business. We included a proposed, scope of work as the Exhibit A, but it's intended to be kind of general and broad, and we would really take direction from you as to, what level of involvement you need from Young Summer, what tasks you need us to assist with, kind of getting us up to speed as to what you're comfortable with as far as preparing for the meetings, preparing necessary documents. So, obviously, any kind of tweaks you guys want to make to that or direction you want to give us as to, how involved you want us to be or regular attendance at meetings, we're here to take, direction from you on that. The retainer is billable on an hourly basis, time and material, so it really allows us to, work within the parameters of what the village board has traditionally budgeted for legal counsel and what you expect as far as the services to be provided. We do have a carve-out in that retainer agreement. One of the matters that Mike Biscone identified for us that will likely need some legal assistance going forward. I believe there has been some negotiation of an outside user agreement or the terms of connection for a new development project Carver Laraway is pursuing down at the port. In full disclosure, our firm has represented Carver Laraway on other matters unrelated to any dealings with the Village of Ravena. We do intend to reach out to Carver Laraway, actually already are in that process to let them know that we have proposed to work with the Village of Ravena as general legal counsel. And then on those specific matters that Mike Biscone was negotiating on behalf of the village with Carver, my understanding was it was pursuant to like an escrow arrangement where, because they were the applicant petitioning the village for water service, the village had the ability to require any consultant legal engineering fees to be paid for by the applicant. We would like to duplicate that arrangement because it really is a cost that should be borne by the applicant, not by the village. But due to our past representation, we just wanted to disclose we have represented Carver in the past and would probably ask them to document, they have no objection to any potential conflict, so we can allow that same arrangement going forward. So we do anticipate that we would have a separate retainer agreement just specific to that matter because we would be paid through an escrow account set up with the applicant. So that is a specific carve-out we did in this retainer agreement, just to bring the board's attention to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, we had time to review the retainer agreement. I think everyone was agreeable with that, and we're looking forward to working with you guys, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I guess if I may, the benefit to having Allison be so familiar is this is obviously a phone a friend to the extent that there's something beyond my immediate awareness, but I probably will be the person who is at whatever board meetings you deem necessary to have on-site legal support. So at this point, I guess one thing, if you guys do decide to work with us, and I guess it sounds like you've made that commitment, is just getting a sense of what days you'd want us to be here. My Tuesdays on the 1st and 3rd Tuesdays of the month are certainly cleared. It's just a function of whether or not you would actually want me to be here for these board meetings. And certainly, I'm prepared and happy to be down here for as long as you guys think it's requisite for me to get brought up to speed.
Yeah, I mean, generally, unless we have an issue, you know, we're pretty good. Our meetings are, knock on wood, fairly quiet. But again, you know, if there's something, you know, like big seeker, stuff like that, that I might need a little coaching with, then.
Well,
those are the
aside, you know, aside from just hanging out at the Halfway House Tavern, the thing that's gonna bring me down to Ravena would be this. Otherwise, if you folks are comfortable with just a phone call or, you know, even, you know, FaceTime or video, whatever makes you folks more comfortable, happy to do it that way as well.
And, you know, it may be, you know, I don't know what you guys have gotten in the habit of doing with Michael Biscone, but I mean, just kind of paying attention to the meetings so far, you had a very nicely prepared agenda, resolutions prepared in local law. It may be good to kind of get in the habit of maybe a regular call, either with the mayor or a point person on the board, a week in advance of each meeting to go over what the agenda is, what you need us to prepare for you, if anything, opportunity to ask any questions, and also confirm if you'd like us to attend, if there's something on the agenda that you think you'd like legal counsel there for.
Sure.
So it may just be good to kind of get into that groove, kind of routine, as we both, you know, kind of start working together so we can get used to what to anticipate for the board, your comfort level of what you like as far as assistance with preparing anything for the meeting. That may be a good way to start off, and then, you know, we would make ourselves available for, you know, anytime you need us to attend either.
Perfect.
Excellent.
I would imagine that Chris or Susie, who are involved with preparing the agendas and organizing what's happening at the meeting, would most likely be under Bill's direction as far as who would be contacting you saying, hey, in a week, we would like to have Jesse come down so you don't have to leave every first and third Tuesday free. You know, so, and I don't think it's going to happen that often, correct? You know, maybe when we have a public
4
hearing.
or 5 times a year,
or-
Michael, was there?
Sure.
Yeah,
Couple times, like maybe once a quarter, he would be there.
We're easy.
pardon me?
Well, we will be sure to be here whenever you need
And she
us. I
knows
think
these.
it'll be helpful just to kind of get in the groove of regular check-ins in advance of the meeting, so we can assist with preparing whatever you may need, even if we're not planning on attending the meeting.
I think it's
Or
a,
answering
Perfect.
any questions.
Good
I think
idea.
it's a good idea.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
We really
Look forward to it.
appreciate the opportunity and look forward to meeting, or, you know, working with you guys more than we already.
Well, with that said, I make a motion, we hire Young Summers for our village attorney.
I second that.
Yes.
Say
Yes.
All right?
Yeah.
Boom.
And I will have a follow-up to the board when I do a little more outreach to both Carver. I'll prepare a new retainer specific for that, work with the outside user agreement for the water service.
Good.
So that way, you know, my goal would be to be able to kind of seamlessly transition that from what Mike Viscone was working on. I've reviewed the materials, I know what position the village has taken up to this point, so I think it's something that we could easily, you know, take the baton on and move it forward. So,
Nice.
I think Mike, he gave you a copy of that
He did,
resolution of understanding.
yes, yeah.
So Bill, this is effective
We'll
when?
make this effective immediately. if that-
Okay, so we start effective immediately. Okay.
Well, let's start at 7, that way
Well, we got 25 minutes in.
He is a businessman.
Okay, effective 7 PM tonight.
I drove through Ravena, let's charge him.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the
Yeah,
opportunity.
You got it.
Get that in the minutes, Chris.
All right. Annette, are you here to say anything, or are you just watching?
I'm just watching.
All right.
Came to see us.
It's nice to see a friendly face in the audience.
What?
That's nice to see a friendly face in the audience.
Yeah, it is.
All right, well, I've talked way too much tonight, so. Henry, if you have some updates, we'll start with you.
Regards to the project over behind Faith Plaza, the Village of Ravena has completed our portion of the project. We have a fence company that's coming in, putting in the fence on the one wall for the protection there. So I believe next weekend or following weekend, he's going to be working on that.
The one that's like closer to the buildings.
Closer to Oak Brook side.
Oh, 'cause
kids
I've
can't
seen,
climb.
well, I've seen kids on the one that's closer to the buildings.
Building, right. That's a high enough wall where it's protected, it's more than 2 foot, so.
Okay.
They'll survive that.
The other one is more of a trip hazard. It's only
It's
like
on the
6
other
inches, so we had to protect it from somebody stepping off at nighttime off of that.
People been back there, though. They've been
Yeah,
doing it.
That's great.
I would say April 26th, we have a televised crew person coming in, just to televise the old section of the pipe, and that will be complete. And then I believe the first week of May, Marabito is coming in doing some plannings, and they'll be in at the end of May doing that, and we have a blacktop crew coming in and doing the blacktop in front there, and then we should be complete by the middle of June. So pretty much, we are complete. The Village of Ravena is complete on the project. Be working with Susie. We'll be submitting stuff to the EFC and stuff like that for reimbursement on that part of it. So it'll be nice, that project. And as of right now, I believe I'm still going to be about $150,000 under budget.
Wow. How's it work, Henry? Does it seem to be working at all?
We had the one flood in December, and that was already in place. It didn't get above the pipe itself. So, and there's plenty of room for there. I don't foresee in that area flooding at all. Now, the one behind Scott Searles's, in that, on Main Street there, that did go over, which was, in the second retention area worked a little bit and helped control it. We did not have no flooding that went onto Orchard Ave at all, but AES did get a little water in their building. Working with them, we got to build that little bit of a berm there just a little bit higher. Hopefully because we seen a low spot, we'll build that low spot up, and hopefully that'll stop that.
Henry, do we have to every year clean that out or mow it down or something because it starts filling with grasses and stuff?
It's supposed to be natural. We got to keep an eye on the creek bed itself,
Okay.
but all the rest of it's supposed to be all natural. The park project, we're going to start on the water main next week. We started on the building just a little bit already. I showed Linda a plan a little bit of what's got to be done. There's a whole bunch of things that are going to be done over to the park. We discussed those, the ball fields, playground equipment, basketball court, tennis court getting relined and covered, pickleball, and the splash pad. Like I said, still the supply issue on a lot of the stuff is still not here. So a lot of stuff still won't be done until the end of summer, but at least all our stuff will be done that we're contributing will be done hopefully by August.
Yeah,
Are they resurfacing the basketball court?
Yeah, it'll be a repainting. There's 2 major cracks in there, and Mayor, I'd like to show you how bad those cracks came in there, but we got 2 major cracks that popped up, and that was what, 7 years ago? We did that, and it was major, a lot of damage on that. I never seen something that split up like that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and even the old surface, we went over the old surface, those were never that bad
Will
neither.
they patch that?
Yeah, they'll be able to patch that. So that's part of the project being repaired.
I understand we talked to the playground person today, and again, like you said, a little bit back up on the equipment coming in.
Yes.
So we're
Yep,
get as much as we can until the supply chain is better,
correct.
right?
So
Can I humbly request that you are done before August 26th?
we won't be done, but I will make sure.
Like somewhat put together?
But right, whatever events, because we got a lot of events going on this year, between Pop Warner, all the other events in Albany County. We will be working around everything and make sure either between the festival and all the other events that's going on, in those areas will be at least complete or cordoned off so nobody can get hurt or,
Stress me out.
protected from it, so.
Don't stress me out.
The biggest thing is getting that water main in through there before a lot of the kids. And like I said, we're gonna be doing that next week, and I'm hoping the next 2 weeks they'll be. That's pretty straightforward, right? We only got a couple of obstacles for the main, and me, Lee, and Pat, and Dave sat through today, and worked it out, so.
All right,
All right?
thanks, Nate.
Perfect, thanks.
All right, who's
Caitlin.
Earth Day? Oh, no, I missed that one. Festival updates, trustee Appleby. What are you updating us on?
May 6th is coming up real quick. We're going to have our Music and Arts Festival here at 15 Mountain Road. We have about 35 vendors. We have 7 musical acts from RCS. And we're waiting for confirmation from one band, but we have about 2 bands that are going to be, Sugar Skull's definitely going to be playing. We have the RCS National Art Honor Society students who are going to be doing face painting. They're going to be doing a Wheel of Art activity where people can kind of come spin this wheel and it's like let fate decide what art you're going to create. Maybe we'll have a drum circle, Trustee Ganley.
Maybe.
Maybe. We're also going to have a community art mural that people can, we had it last year too, it's hanging up at the high school, but people can come and just paint a little piece of this mural and, just be a part of the community. But it's going to be from 12 to 6 on May 6th, and we're looking forward to it.
And how about the planners?
The planners.
We're prepping them now.
Oh, the
I was
planners.
gonna bring that up, yeah. You gonna have orders for that, because I'm gonna get those painted up white.
You got to tell me where you're going to put them.
Well, that's something we'll be after the
Okay.
meeting.
Yeah, we'll set them out there and
Yeah.
community can have a hand in painting our,
Our-
Are you gonna have them all repainted?
That we do.
Yeah.
we have a plan, we're only gonna, there'll be 3 for this. The library has their own and Peter B has their own. But they were getting old and beat up, so we're cleaning them up and they'll be blank canvases. And then
So
we'll
that's
seal them up and
another
put them back up.
community
That's
art
great.
project that you can be a part of. But,
Or pillboxes, as they would once call them.
there's
Yeah,
a-
they were.
there's only 3 of
Because they
them.
look like pillboxes.
I figured we'd bring
3?
3 to this.
There's definitely 2 that were damaged that we're working on,
Yeah.
and Lee was checking on those other ones, so I'll let you know. Definitely 2, maybe a third.
That'd be great to have the
Yeah.
kids paint those up.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah,
Be
anybody.
fun. Anybody.
And it's a day to come exercise your artistic talent, whether you're a
Boy,
kid
I
or an
hope we spend
adult.
a lot of time
Also
there.
looking if people want to display their art, giving you free vendor spots if they just want to come and display their stuff. And
What are you gonna do with the mural that they're going to be?
I don't know, because I would like to have it hung here at this time because the other one's at the school.
Yeah,
That'd
So
be
I would
nice.
like to see, I'll talk to Tina about maybe having that hung here this year.
yeah, that'd be good
Yeah.
to have it here.
White wall space.
All right.
Okay.
And we're going to
let's
start planning for the Friendship Festival. Well, I've already started planning for the Friendship Festival, but our committee will be gathering and we'll be starting that in the next couple weeks.
Cool.
So August 26th is the annual Friendship Festival, the last Saturday of August. And yeah,
Yeah.
one of the highlights of our summertime here.
see. For how many years has that been a highlight?
I'm 39, so this will be the 39th year.
So next year will be a big 40.
Next year will be a big,
We
yeah,
don't talk about the pool.
big, yep,
We'll have a circus.
long time.
We're gonna have a circus?
You'll have to
Is that what you
come.
said?
You'll have to come to the festival next year. It's a good time. They dragged me away from the state fair to do it.
That'd be fun.
It's a good time.
It is a good time.
All right, Nancy, you want to talk about your Earth Day?
Earth Day is this Saturday, April 22nd, 10 a.m. Show up in the parking lot on, what side of the building is that? The east side?
the east, yeah.
The east side of the building. We will have gloves and bags for you. Depending on how many people show up, we'll assign some streets based on the amount of litter and the amount of people that show up. Fill your bags, drop them on the nearest corner, and the village crew will come and pick them up that Monday. This is a great time for everybody to come. Kids, families, teach your children some community service, have some pride in their community.
If anybody needs hours.
Yeah,
for
community.
Any kind of community service hours too, it's a good chance to.
Yep, community service, any civic organizations, neighbors, just get some friends together and come on out. And it just gives us a jump start on cleaning the village for the summer months. And then when we're done, Henry will bring through a sidewalk cleaner, which will then take care of all the gravel and anything that's been thrown up there from the snowplows. So this Saturday, 10 a.m., outside, east side of the building.
And did somebody donate a container to put the trash in?
Who donated?
Charlie Field.
Theo.
Field party.
So again, we thank Thiel Carding. They've been very generous each year with donating a dumpster for some of the larger garbage that we find shoved in the woods along some of our more wooded areas, streets.
Yeah.
So thank
That
you
was
to them for that.
My suggestion is go to Family Dollar, get yourself a grabby stick.
Do they have those there?
I think they do.
Bending over gets harder now, so
The squatting down.
that
too.
would be a
Ooh.
good idea.
We do have some.
Grab things?
Yeah, I'll try to.
I have my own.
Try to find some.
Thank you. Do you want me to do the next one while we're on it?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, so then on Monday, after this weekend, April 24th at 4:15, at the Senior Projects, you do not have to be a senior to attend, we will have a scam prevention workshop. The chief of police was kind enough to do it for us in March. Some people couldn't come, some people missed it, some people still had more questions, so he's coming to do it again. 4:15, he'll speak before dinner, and then, of course, you're all welcome to stay for dinner, which is usually very yummy, which is going to be chicken, stuffed chicken, I think, this Monday. And then he'll answer questions for anyone who's present. And I thank him for taking the time to do that for us.
All right.
Keep going.
Keep going, Nancy.
Okay, so I make a motion that we pay the audited bills for abstract 11-2-23, voucher numbers 11-21 through 11-68 in the amount of $89,485.94.
Second that.
Yes.
Yes.
Ooh, one more thing.
Go.
Linda and I had a date Saturday night, and we went to the Ravena Fire Department installation dinner. I believe Linda will agree that it was an excellent meal. It was at the Fuller Road Banquet House.
And was there too.
Oh, Henry, that's right, you were there also. I want to just commend the members that were there and that were absent for their numbers, their years of service. I don't know about you, but I was a little amazed that they had people with, I think the highest was 55 years of service.
Was it 55 or 58 with Bill?
One member.
Well, he wasn't there, right? Bill wasn't there.
Bill, yeah.
All the way down to newbies.
Yep.
So that was quite impressive, and I thought that that was a testament to how important the Ravena Fire Department is and how dedicated those individuals are. They're volunteers, they don't get paid. Like you said before, they come out day or night, no matter what the weather. So I was quite proud to be a part of that, and to see them all show a lot of camaraderie that night. So thank you to them again publicly for all of your service.
Yeah, it was a great night.
I think I'm done.
Bill, we've been getting calls about the village-wide garage sale.
Oh, yeah.
First Saturday of
June.
And that's June 3rd. So, and, yeah, right, is that what that says?
June 3rd, yeah.
Yep, there we
I
go.
believe the Alcove one, maybe.
The 29th.
Coming up this week.
That's
or
the
coming up.
29th.
It's coming up.
Coming up.
It's out of our wheelhouse, but I thought I'd mention.
That's nice to do that.
Can you get the signs out for a yard sale?
Well, we got one, but yeah, okay.
You what?
We got one, but yeah, okay.
But you don't,
You know what? If I ask now, I'll have them by May. Okay, thanks.
I'll send you one, but yeah.
Yeah, just drop them off. Thank you.
Well, something we are gonna do also is, on the signs when you leave the village, via 144 or up at the point here by 9W. The back of the signs look a little blank. So we will have signs made for things like yard sale day, the festival, any kind, our snow removal policy, that'll go up, Halloween parade, anything that's going on. We're gonna have the, large, I guess they're polystyrene signs that we can hang up for that time period. A lot cheaper than digital, and it'll fill the back of those things up nicely and get it, everybody will be able to catch that at the red lights, so.
Good.
Aside from the lawn signs that we have. So we gotta get on that, maybe we'll do that this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we gotta get a list of what we gotta do and then
Yeah.
what signs we want.
So if you guys wanna just think of, jot down whatever,
email.
stuff you think would be pertinent up there, and we can design some
Like,
stuff.
I think water restriction should be on.
That's
we
another
do.
one, yeah.
Thanks for visiting.
CB.
Bye-bye.
All right, planning zoning board meeting is April 24th. Right now, there is a blank agenda that can, that is subject to change. Other than that, I think, the local farm stands are open, both Farmer John's and X Over the Hill. Be sure to support them. Get some flowers in the ground. They've got all sorts of cool stuff,
Yeah, they do.
all sorts of neat stuff this year.
Just take my paychecks.
And I think that's it.
Hand them right over to her.
That's it, buddy.
I think that's it. Motion we adjourn.
Second that.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, have a good
Thank
evening.
you.
Good night.
And a pleasant tomorrow.
I gotta ask Allison a question.
I do that for my
Since we-
father.
Honestly, you have to